Good time zone, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday with all of us here at Heart of Tales. My name is Marcus, aka the Chindividual. I'm a pale Caucasian male with short, dark brown hair, a brown beard, glasses, and today in a dark blue shirt with a lot of white dots, which I'm just realizing can look kind of funky on the webcam, but that is pretty cool. I am the Game Master, Dungeon Master, Chaos Facilitator of this fantastic group here on Heart of Tales, and I'm glad to introduce you to our band today, starting out with 3, but don't worry, Austin is on his way and will be joining to fill out this quartet of chaos later on. But let's give them each their chance to introduce themselves, starting in the top left corner of our overlay with Serial.
Hello everybody, I am Sariel, my pronouns are they, them, and I am a Caucasian person with a streak of grey hair on the front of my fringe, and wearing a tank top, a black tank top with a moon drawing on it, a picture, I guess. And I play Rebus, who is a warforged barbarian, made of metal and wood and patched up here and there, and with a shattered faceplate. And they use any pronouns, usually they, them.
Perfect. Glad to have you back once again, Serial. Moving right on to Ida.
Hello, my name is Ida. My pronouns are she and her. I am a Latina woman with tanned olive skin, dark eyes, dark hair. It's a little poofy right now. Wearing a white, brown, and teal top with an orange hoodie, and I am playing Rain, whose pronouns are she and her. She is a Triton sorcerer. As a Triton, she has aqua blue-green skin, finned ears, and a mop of curly black seaweed hair.
Awesome. Glad to have you back as well, Ida. And also in the bottom right corner below, we have Caro.
Yeah, hi, I'm Caro. Pronouns she, they. I'm a Caucasian femme with long turquoise hair, and today wearing a white shirt with black stripes, so I'm partly qualifying as a zebra. And I'm going to play Delphine. Pronouns she, they as well, who is a tanned half-elf with a scar over her face, rather long, light bluish hair, and tricon hat on her head, and like generally rocking that pirate style. You know, like usual.
I like how at this point with your character description, we've established that you always round it out with this nice line of
it's
rocking that pirate style. It's a nice consistent thing, and it's just so true. Glad to have all of you already here. As mentioned before, Austin is a little bit late. He'll be joining us later, but I think we'll have our favorite local Leon in here before we know it. Today, we kick off a new chapter of this campaign. We rounded out the last chapter 2 weeks ago with some revelations of what this chapter is going to move into. And
Death and
the
gloom.
players... Sorry?
Death and gloom.
Death and gloom? Maybe. It's a possibility. Only one way to find out is to move forward and see where this story takes us. But before we flip open a new page, take that pencil and write the tale of this yet unnamed band of adventurers, how's everyone feeling before we go into that? What's the vibe?
Everything I just was thinking about flew out the table as soon as you said they were still unnamed. God damn it.
Yeah, I had no time to think about the name. Like, absolutely no time.
So every session, the characters devote 5 minutes to like argue about a name, get nowhere, and continue on.
Yes, exactly.
Oh God.
No,
Other
we
than that, feeling
will
good.
just ignore this conversation at this point.
I don't know if Rain could let it go. Rain's too
What
Vic-
can Rain let go?
nothing.
See?
Is that not going to be then a side objective for the coming chapter? That not only are you going to deal with a fairly maddening plane of existence, but maybe there's like the B plot for today's or for this chapter, that you have to come out of this with a name for the party. And it has to be better than what did we have? The Fabulous Freelancers?
It was a name that ended up starting with 3 words, starting with the letter F. And at least for me personally, and Marcus were like, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Free fucks given.
I mean, that's not inaccurate for Rain sometimes.
Well, who knows? Maybe we'll get out of this. Maybe we'll get out of this chapter with a new name for the party and whatever kind of other turns and twists this will take. But before we get into that and start our next chapter, just to remind people who are here and watching this, you are at Horde of Tales, and on Tuesdays we do play Dungeons and Dragons on this channel. Today is session number 57 of our campaign of Convergence Manifesto, an adventure series created by the Across Eberron project. We are kicking off our 7th chapter, I'm lying. We're kicking off our 8th chapter, which once again aligns with the chapter numbering of Convergence Manifesto adventures, because this is also the 8th chapter in those series, called March of Madness. Those adventures, you can find them all on the DM's Guild. If you look for Convergence Manifesto, you can buy them in a bundle, you can buy them separately, but I would advise you to buy them if you're looking for a great globe-trotting Eberron campaign. Our virtual tabletop of choice is Foundry VTT, and in case you see any kind of battle maps popping up, because, I don't know, sometimes in a Dungeons & Dragons game, your characters end up in a fight, if you see any of them pop up, they were probably made in Dungeon Draft, a program made by Megasploot. Music you hear is by Dark Fantasy Studios and Joel Schlachter, and you can also help now this complete band of adventurers, including Austin, who has come in, to survive their dangers by providing us with Catvantage. If you spot a cat today, and I will be giving you a hint, to my left is a cat currently snoozing, and there is a chance that that little guy will wake up. But if you spot a cat on someone's screen, you can use your channel points and provide Catvantage to someone. If you give Catvantage, make sure that you also tell us who you're giving the Catvantage to, and then they get a cute little kitty cat on their screen. Like, for example, here, Ida gets a cute little kitty cat on her screen right now. As long as they have Catvantage, they can choose when to use it to give themselves advantage on a roll. Keep in mind to not give Catvantage to someone who already has a cute little kitty cat. You can only hold so much Catvantage in your life. It's limited to 1 dose of Catvantage. If you give it to someone who already has Catvantage, it goes to the GM. If the GM already has Catvantage, the Plane of Xoriat goes mad, we stop this campaign, and we start playing Lasers and Feelings. Who knows? That is a possibility. So, keep in mind, if you spot a cat, use your channel points, give someone Catvantage, and help these adventurers out. With all of that being said, I think it's time for us to strap in, get our backpacks ready, and first, roll the intro before we start the session properly. See you after the intro. We're back! Hello!
Give back my cat.
And
Give it back.
the cat is maybe the first victim of this chapter.
How dare!
Marcus,
Pal, you saw it first. Marcus is sacrificing cats to the Plane of Xoriat.
oof,
Marcus is now cancelled.
I can never recover from this.
What did you just say? Cancelled?
Cat
No,
sold.
but now so is Caro.
I'm sorry, I have a bad hearing. I'm old.
When last
Excellent.
we met our adventurers, they had just finished wrapping up their adventures in Regalport, helping High Prince Ryger, leader of the Sea Dragons and the most magnificent and strongest faction in the Lazar Principalities, in trying to recover a magical item, while also helping House Lyrander strengthening alliances with a lost element of the family in the Principalities. To summarize things, the magic item that was supposed to be recovered was heavily damaged in the recovery attempt, but alliances were made, and the party did, in a way, succeed in their missions. However, these yet unnamed adventurers did quickly find themselves in the staging grounds of their next adventure when Rain, in delving into the mind of High Prince Ryger, found out about fairly recent events this naval aristocrat had been dealing with, involving remnants of the Plane of Xoriat. Dythun actually seemed to have battled a person in the streets who was been warped by the influences of the Plane of Madness, and soon it was revealed that High Prince Ryger knew about something that was happening in the swampy lands of Kubara, a coastal swamp region where maybe something had broken free and had helped an entity the party had met before to slip out further into the world. Our protagonists have had 5 days to prepare for the task at hand, to get ready to set sail for the swamps of Kubara. In that endeavor, they were supported by High Prince Ryger and other factions who have vested interest in having this mission succeed. Even though our party has experience with the planes, has entered some of them, has dealt with items that are related to them, the Plane of Xoriat is quite a different scale of things. Party members, as mentioned, it has been 5 days. You have had time to prepare. And we find all of you well prepared, equipped with whatever items you were given from the treasure vaults of High Prince Ryger, whatever other supplies you acquired with the cash that you were given. You are now all prepared in his throne room, where he is together with a few of his closest associates, gathered around a table that has been placed here, with all of you gathered around that table as well. Ryger looks at the 4 of you, and after pointing out the location for where you will be sent, going by a ship that Ryger will gladly give you, knowing that there's also a capable captain amongst you, he looks up and says, "So, that is what you will be facing. A few days of sea travel, a day's march through the swamps and jungles of Kubara, and then the ruins of whatever was contained there. Any more questions before you go out and deal with this?
Have your scouts picked up any sign of a meddling, entirely too much time on their hands, loaded with high magic technology gnome noblewoman nearby, scouting the region? For whenever there seems to be planar incursions, normally there are incursions by this person and their goals as well.
We have been hearing about movements in the jungles around the ruins, and not too long after, or should I say before, strange things happened here in Regalport, there was some kind of detonation or disturbance near the location of the ruins. And there have been, especially after what happened in the wild magical storm, and the events that happened around Aria Erkoren, I have been asking my men to keep an eye out for her and her equipment. And some of the reports I get point at the possibility that she was involved with that.
Shame about the ensuing collateral damage that will occur.
You think she would be... Oh, I'm not asking this. She will definitely try to get something from that.
But what could she possibly want from a place like that? There is a reason that people hardly ever go out there.
Anything that is connected to the plane.
So she is a wealthy, noble woman, or at least a wealthy woman, who has nothing better to do than looking for things related to dangerous planes, and does so in a mechanical suit.
No, she is quite driven by a lot of hate.
Which will ultimately result in the breaking of that treaty you're so proud of.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And ambition.
What was that, Rebus?
She's also driven by an unhealthy amount of ambition, almost obsession at this point.
Ambition is a dangerous thing to drive yourself with. It will move you forward, but if you're not careful, it will move you forward way too fast.
It is tied to not the most stable of emotions in her case.
I see. Well, I will be quite blunt, considering the complications that she has caused in recent endeavors of mine. If you should run into her, I wouldn't be opposed to you, I don't know, pulling a wire from her suit and just leaving her out there in the swamps.
Like I said, unfortunate collateral damage.
Definitely not preventable at all.
You will be provided with... Oh, I'm sorry, Dythun.
I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily information you would have, but I'll ask while as many people are here. Would she have a reason to know of things happening down in Kookaburra? Or I mean, like, where does she get her information of these things?
An excellent question. Where did she know that an item that she so much desired was on a ship that was heading to me? It is quite interesting how she would attain that information. But if I've learned one thing of engaging with nobles of various strata out in this world, they have their means, they have their eyes and ears everywhere. I mean, I still think that one of the boys working in my kitchen is definitely a spy for some of the other pirate crews. Just haven't figured out which one yet.
Well, maybe it's best to just shift change. And then if spread each of them out into different sections, and then if you hear reports of one section giving information, then you know who it was. It's whoever you sent to that section.
Have you considered employment as a counterintelligence officer in my court?
No. So at least you know I'm safe.
Anyhow, I'm not clear on where she would get that information, but quite frankly, right now I am more concerned about whatever happened there in Kubara or is happening there is affecting my people here in the principalities, and might even affect other regions if not acted on. You will be provided with a ship to sail there. I will provide you with the maps to find the safest place to dock the ship, and also with maps to navigate the swamps and jungle. I hope you have watertight boots and don't mind mosquitoes and other pests that might be making the journey harder.
Yes, you're making the trip sound all the more better. And as uninhabited as we believe these swamps to be, you have no insiders, no contacts, no knowledge of anyone there.
Don't make the mistake of thinking that the swamps of Kubara are uninhabited. There's a lot of different people there. It's one of the reasons I usually stay out of it, because I have enough political things to deal with here in Regalport. Kubara itself, since the last war, since more and more miners and everything, prospectors, adventurers, explorers moved into that swamp, and tensions have been rising between various factions of lizard folk, it's quite a challenge to be in Kubara.
Is it a challenge to be in Kubara, or is it a challenge to be associated with you, High Prince, and be in Kubara?
You see at that remark, the High Prince he grabs his collar and goes like, it's
Maybe both.
It's never a problem to be associated with me. There might be people who might also wanted to be associated with me, and they might get a little bit jealous that you're associated with me. So you just have to be careful who you tell that you're associated with me.
So I should not flaunt the favor you have given me. And Rain raises her left hand, and you see like this glowing double golden banded ring.
I mean, I gave you that to accentuate the beauty that you already are. I don't think you have to flaunt it more than you just already flaunt being yourself.
Whoosh. Just fixing my hair.
You should not get to deal with any of the currently, political factions in the swamps if you follow the route on the map. I would just give you the general advice. If you encounter any of the lizard folk tribes, it usually helps to be polite with them. If you encounter any kind of prospectors or miners asking you if you found any Eberron dragon shard deposits, just point in a random direction. They're literally everywhere. And if you run into anyone claiming that they're, I don't know, the future king of Kubara, tell them to just shut up and move on.
What if they provide me with a bigger ring?
Tell them to shut up and move on.
Rain looks like she's itching to go.
Try to be inconspicuous.
Inconspicuous. That is the keyword. Try to be a little bit stealthy, a little bit. Oh, I don't know you people for that long, but I have the impression that you have many great skills, but larceny, legerdemain, stealth, they're not really your expertise.
I could rob off your half of your ship and you wouldn't know it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what state my ship is then when you come back from this task. And he grows a little bit more serious at this point. I want to make it very clear. I hope all of you do come back. I know that this is quite a dangerous task that you're going on. Many of my crew have not come back from where you're going. And even just the fact that you're standing here this well equipped and prepared and ready to go already makes me grateful for your assistance. And you can ask every pirate crew in the principalities that I don't say thank you that fast.
We appreciate both the concern and the well wishes. We will try our best.
There is correspondence I have left behind in my quarters. There are instructions what to do there, should I not return. If it is opened before I expire, the person who has broken the seal will be cursed. Only I can undo it.
GM here, is Rain bluffing?
Rain has left the letter, but from to the player, no, there is no magical implement on it to curse it. She's just trying to dissuade anyone from peeking in it.
Right. Can you give me a quick deception check, please?
Yeah. That's pretty good. 19 total.
Ryger just smiles at you, but there's like some people, some of his associates of his crew, they hear that and they just look at you with a bit of fear and slightly intimidated by the implications of that. Very well then. The ship is ready. I bid you farewell and may the winds be at your back. The
Thank you.
party is ushered out of the room, and we have this swipe cut over to you already being on one of the ships of Ryger's fleet. It's a smaller ship, definitely more for the size of the crew that you are on here. It's the four of you and about a crew of 8 deckhands and sailors that help you steer this small, sleek, and very fast vessel. Still comes with 2 sails, but lies very sleek in the water. And we find the party already on the ship as you have departed from the harbors of Regalport. Regalport basically is one large harbor, so you're already leaving that behind, and you're heading in a southwestern direction. Is there anything as you go on your journey, which will, on ship journey, will take you a few days to get to the swamps of Kubara? Is there anything the party wants to do, discuss, level with each other while you're on the ship? You have all of you together. There is in the aft of the ship, there is a fairly large captain's quarters, which usually is reserved whoever is commanding captain of the ship, but is also large enough for the 4 of you to also gather in if there's any kind of discussions, conversations you want to have. And for each of you, there are also private chambers on the ship to retreat to. Lower deck, there is more space also for the rest of the crew who sleep below deck in group sleeping quarters on hammocks and mattresses.
Dythun would at some point like to gather the party in like some kind of like small, maybe like private room or something.
Yeah, we can use the captain's quarters, so.
Yeah, perfect. I
Right.
think he's just like at the desk and he has like this piece of paper in front of him. It's just like, all right, so it's not whatever the hell Prince Ryger said is our name, right? Like we need, like, what is our name? What is? We need a name.
Oh,
I didn't think this would ever be a problem, but we
you
keep,
mean to
yeah, like we keep doing things together, so I feel like we should have an identifier of some kind. I don't even remember what he said. It was so bad.
I think it was.
Do we really need to have
something
this
about
conversation?
dancers, right?
What was that?
Do we
Previous-
really need this conversation?
Oh no, this is just like at some point,
Well,
Dythun is very focused on this, but we don't have that.
This was basically my reply to your suggestion.
Yeah, no,
That
it's
is
just
not
like,
a very good name, Delphine.
well, Miss Delphine, I think it is becoming. We've had these situations where it has been somewhat difficult for people to refer to us or know who we are or who we are referring to. So I think it would ease conversation and diplomacy in the future if we were to have a name for all four of us together.
And you want to have this discussion before we are going to, or before we are reaching Kubara and might potentially lose one or two members of our group.
Well,
because
then
we're
we
going to
can't have that
Xoriat.
conversation. This
Yeah, but
starts
then
late
it
to
doesn't
me.
matter in the end anymore.
I mean, I think it would matter because then if we
Well-
bring someone else along, what would we say? Would you like to join the? In our efforts to-
how would people talk about us, right? I think we are. Pardon, I don't really know what legends are made of, but we are embarking on a somewhat dangerous mission, and I believe we're one of more of us to perish. Hopefully, it will be the case. And I knock on a wooden part of my frame. I think it would be a good decision to give them a name to refer to our group as it stands with these members.
Yeah, like if we get to Gabara and we get this item and we close this whatever it is we're doing, like let's say people say like, oh, who is it that helped us, got rid of these weird curses or whatever. What do we say? Certainly not the daring group of adventurers known as the... It's really bothering me. What did Ryan try to name
The
us?
formidable freelancers.
That was it. No, that's terrible. No, how would we go with that? Like,
Beyond Rebus and Dythun do bring up very good points. Diplomacy or introduction, or even if there's pride in building a legend, the name is important. But I dare say, and Delphine, don't get too sick when you hear this, but having briefly potentially lost all of you, and reinforcing the fact that what we have is unusual, special, yet unmistakably precious. Usually, one takes those special, unusual, and precious things and names them. Do you need a bag? Will you be okay?
You know, I'm very much familiar with the thing that people name groups or things or whatever. It's not like as if I've never heard of this, you know.
Oh. All right. You just like to voice your
I'm sure you're.
displeasure, and you just need to be the contrarian. I see. Well, Dythun said something fallers, since that happens but doesn't really phase us. The metaphysical, the spiritual sense.
The unfazed. See, the problem is Dythun's terrible at, like, big words, so...
And why are all these things we're imagining starting with F? Has Ryger's nickname somehow wormed itself into our consciousness?
Okay, this has an F in it, but offsetters. I don't know. We're offsetting balance of things. It's dumb. It's stupid. I'm just trying to get out of Fs. the cool crew, the people, the problem solvers, the collectors, the...
Yeah, definitely. The collectors. Make us bounty hunters.
The collectors sounds good.
I was actually a fan once of a name similar to Tuvok's tribe. The Inevitables, in a more mortal sense.
We did say that at one point, like a long time ago, I think. It feels like it's been months.
It probably is.
Inevitably,
I liked it.
we will be soaring through the sky. Inevitably, something will go wrong. Inevitably, we will resolve it.
Inevitably, there will be manifest zones, and we will be there to hopefully deal with them.
I mean, if Danvi has inevitables, why can't Eberron?
I mean, we are sort of working with Tuvok too. What if we are Eberron's inevitables?
Yeah, no.
Thank you
What
for
about-
feeling role as the contrarian and not the productive one.
Usually
Yeah,
this is
thank
more
you
of a-
for not giving me any time to think about that stuff.
I'm not
For
sad,
for
you
just
have all
throwing out a lot
time.
of shit here and being like, so yeah, pick one.
What about... the...
Inevitables, the indefensibles, the...
No,
Well,
we get,
are ultimately
we get the shit
chaos
kicked out of us a
bringers,
lot
right?
when... yeah, no, everything goes smoothly. What are you talking about?
I
I think the inevitable...
are you
There
sure?
was
I
some
seem
reaction.
to remember most of our plans.
Go ahead.
I seem to remember most of our plans are somewhat chaotic at best and truly mayhem at worst.
They inevitably devolve.
Then again, so does entropy.
about-
So
Chaos inevitable. No, that's dumb. This is a lot more.
How about we're taking one night to think about this, to come up with
Yes.
like good ideas?
Right. What if we have like a holding name for now? What if, like, over the next few days, if we get to Gabar and we can't decide on something, what if we just have, like, a stand-in name that's not the freelancers of whatever, like,
It was
No.
just a bad name. You can't even remember. That's just bad marketing.
Yes.
and I'm excellent at remembering names, obviously, so.
You were excellent at remembering that you remember names, indeed. In all seriousness, there did seem to be a positive reaction for most of us regarding inevitables as a foundation or a starting point. But maybe we can agree to not
Let's do
exactly
that.
introduce ourselves as such yet.
It does sound very... We are the heroes, or we are the grandiose thing. So I can see some hesitation to that, but it does have a ring to it. I don't know. Or something involving that
We can keep
word.
it for now.
Inevitable chaos.
Yeah, let's just sleep about it, please. I beg you.
Okay, right.
Um,
I'll write these down so I don't forget them.
well, just a quick question from Ray and also the player. As we're having this discussion, we were apart 5 days. Do the party members look physically different, or is there like very noticeable different equipment or gear about them? I would say that Rain, let's say her hair looks like particularly coiffed, like the curls are particularly wider. Her hair, her clothing looks particularly better kept, almost like it's like naturally floating at certain points. Like everywhere she walks, it just so happens that the light shines at just the right angle. Looks a little more like put together than usual. It's a very light step as she goes forward.
As far as Dythun goes, he actually is a lot more armored than he was before. He has this sort of really like polished silvery what looks like plate mail. But he seems to be moving around in it just as easily as he did his slightly lighter armor. And like that shield, his sentinel shield with the eye on it, has this almost like shield emblem that looks like it's been attached to the front of it somehow. So like visually, Dythun has that different.
Rebus is wearing clothing again ever since we went to the snowy region. They haven't really bothered to look for anything new. But they're wearing a very pretty cloak. I don't know, Ida, if Rain had this cloak particularly personalized or decorated, if you'd like to describe that. If it was any particular color or any kind of embroidery.
I think it was like a fairly standard, like a dark blue, deep navy, maybe with a nice satin sheen. So as things come in, it looks like it bounces or reflects off a little bit more. This is a bit of ephemeral, but otherwise the fabric itself is solidly colored.
So, Rubus is wearing a cloak that might have been seen on Rain before. But is adjusted to their size. It has a little hood on it and it lays on top of their shoulders, framing their long, slender figure. And their weapon has been upgraded. The glaive that had been tinkered with by Aunt Moira at some point has been changed with equipped a second blade on the other side of it and a mechanism in the middle that can separate each blade into its own sword. So Rebus can choose whether to use the glaive as it is a two-handed weapon or to use a separate sword on each hand. So it just has, a small mechanism and a button, and it looks kind of tinkery and goes with the vibe of this Warforged.
I love it.
They're also wearing a jade ring on one of their fingers, which they've never worn any kind of jewelry before, and you will catch them sometimes just kind of fiddling with it and trying to get accustomed to the feeling on something on their fingers.
For Delphine, you can see that her coat got a few more very expensive looking embroideries to it. And she also has a new rapier on her side, which looks kinda old. And is there anything else? You can also see when she moves that there seems to be a tattoo be placed on her hip, moving upward on the side of her body, which seems to be fairly new. And that's about it. Yes.
Super cool. And since Rebus mentioned it, Rain is wearing like one particularly large gold banded ring that like encompasses 2 fingers almost on her left hand. And it's over her left ring finger and her middle left finger as well. It's a lot of fun looking at it.
So, Rain,
Yes.
was there now anything more between you and Ryger, since you were like, oh, I have this ring and I need to show it very obviously to everyone around me?
Yes. It is a very expensive given to me by the High Prince of the Tsar Principalities. Can certainly open doors, solve problems, cause problems. It's important to know what tools are in one's toolbox.
Engagement, yes, no?
No.
Oh, okay.
Asked because...
You were showing it very obviously, you know. Someone
Yes.
could not notice it.
Then I'm wearing it correctly. I mean, should you ever be in such a position, beyond hypotheticals, where someone gives you jewelry as a token of emotional favor, would you not want to show that piece off, be proud of it, let it sparkle in the sun?
Maybe.
You receive such tokens often?
Do I look as if I would?
I know you received at least one.
What do you mean? Trying to remember.
I guess it wasn't that special in the end.
Help me out here, because I seemingly forgot.
It was the day we met for the very
Delphine
first
forgot,
time.
or
Oh. Yeah. About that. You know, when you were dead and we tried bringing your soul closer to your body and suddenly you were a ghost?
I do recall this, yes.
I lost it there.
Like I said, I guess it wasn't that special.
Rebus leans over at some point after the conversation is over to Delphine and just like pats her in the back and says, "I'm proud of you for finally telling her." Then walks away.
But was this happening right at like the end of the other
Yes.
conversation in the
Yes,
same room?
yes.
Dythun just has like been staring at his notebook this whole time. Is it Ring of Chaos? Is that anything? Wait, did I miss something?
Token of trouble.
Oh, Token of Chaos.
The four winds of chaos.
Chaos token?
Because it was a token. Good night.
With whatever a whiteboard is in Eberron, filled with potential names and everything in the captain's quarters, I do think that one thing that Delphine said in this conversation rings true, and that is that it might be good to sleep on the name, but also what Dythun offered to try out a few names in the course of the coming days and see how they fit the party. As a GM, these
So
kind
we're
of
just going
conversations are
to
all...
tell
Yeah.
like every person we meet a different name for the next week.
As a GM, this is always fantastic to just see what kind of things you come up with. But in the end, the decision is yours as a party, what name you'll be sticking with. Besides your brainstorming and trying out various names for the party, is there anything else that you would like to get done before you arrive on the swampy shores of Kubara?
Rain does input 2 spells into her ring. Do you want me to PM them to you, or are you just like, gotcha?
I'll trust you that you'll just
Okay.
track that correctly.
It will require attuning and reattuning to certain items, but since we have long rests, that is why I need to do that.
Exactly.
It is a ring of spellstoring, everyone.
Nice.
And as players, we saw the notes that Marcus gave us, so that's that. Rain will carry around the giant tome if there's anything else the party would ask about what they're potentially going into.
That's actually a good question. You're keeping the tome with you. Is that
Yeah.
something that you keep at hand? Will be storing at in your backpack and the likes?
Yes, because if
Okay.
her mother Marin's notes are in there, that might be very relevant. And
Absolutely.
after having read through it a few times, and DM, you'll tell me what I know role wise or whatever. Rain's overall feeling is like it's good that this information is there, but there's this sense of frustration. Like, yes, it's been highlighted left and right that this place is so dangerous. Why do you just leave it alone then? The greatest danger is not to be only defended against, it's to go up against. And Rain feels like, but she respects that this is indeed a ridiculously high level of danger, and there is some understanding that a standing leader is likely the least equipped to go out and do this because of the responsibilities.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's clear.
I would like to ask Rain and all of us in, if we meet up at the captain's quarters, about the potential dangers that we might encounter, perhaps to discuss a bit of strategy where we to find ourselves in the offensive. So apart from the overall dangers that we've heard of, are there any particular data in your book about particular inhabitants of this plane?
Those of legend. Those that ought never to return to Eberron for their, DM, correct me if I'm characterizing this correctly, but of entities who pure desires were simply to take over the plains and simply rend it apart for destruction's sake. We are facing the embodiment, the manifestation of chaos, of all the knowledge and truths of the world bent and presented in such a way that minds cannot comprehend. How one is able to defend against that is very challenging, but simply the basest defense would be fortitude against a mind shattering in that regards, not being able to handle their sense of logic, their sense of righteousness, their sense of gravity, their sense of existing.
There is an important little nuance to add here that especially Rain would have gathered from her days studying the notes. And the keyword here is like chaos in this case. The Xoriat is a different kind of chaos than, for example, the plane of Kithri that you briefly engaged with in that wild magical storm. Kithri is indeed the plane of raw, unbound, chaotic elemental energies, and feels a little bit more like it's a natural linked kind of chaos. Any kind of material plane has volcanoes erupting, has storms raging around, but they belong still, even though they seem chaotic and primordial, they belong in a pattern of logic in that plane. And in that regard, a plane like Kithri still adheres to a certain logic, a certain structure that a mortal mind can comprehend. Xoriat is chaos in a different way. It's chaos especially for mortal minds because it is so utterly incomprehensible. And it is a place of, to use a term from fiction, of non-Euclidean entities, of things that do not make sense, and that that by simply perceiving them can be the undoing of a mortal person.
So, since you have experience wandering within the minds of others, how do we shield ourselves? How do we better approach an encounter with an entity whose mere presence might undo us?
Sometimes it's as simple as refusing to perceive them, as closing your eyes, shifting your gaze away. Sometimes sometimes your gaze becomes its gaze. Rules are non-existent.
I can see things with my eyes closed. Is that going to be a problem?
That might be very beneficial.
Okay, I'm very perceptive, and you told me not to perceive things, so I don't know how to go about that.
That pain in your frontal lobe that you are experiencing, make a note of that. You will experience that very much when we arrive at our destination.
I'm going to hate this place.
You are going to hate this place.
Oh, wonderful.
And, since my trip into death, I am a bit more. I'm not resilient against it, against that plane's pulls on my souls. Should the most unfortunate come to rise. Beyond the emotional apologies and the grief and sad that I too will experience from my side. This is not necessarily to toot my own horn, for I do not know. But I think, especially those with stronger capabilities, I would hate to see if their bodies or their minds or their abilities be used and abused by those belonging to Xoriat. If someone goes down, it's imperative that we remove them as soon as possible.
Thank you for the guidance. It's rain. Sadly, it doesn't seem like there is too many ways we can prepare ourselves other than what we've already done. So
Perhaps as we get there, see more details, we can match things up to the tome and later learn. But right now, everything is rather vague. All we know is that we're going through some ruins that relate to the Dakani, that relate back to the times of the Dalkir War, that certain individuals sought to seal away. But that seal was chipped away at.
What all of you would also understand, considering all of you have been involved in an adventure that dealt with the Dakani history way back when you were in Rukan Dral, looking for these beautiful chains. You know that the Dakani Empire, one of the reasons that it fell was because of its struggle against Xoriat and its emissaries. And that it is thanks to the Dakani, among other factions, that Eberron has been so safe from Xoriat for so long.
Which makes me wonder what the entity is. Is it a Dalkir? Because I want nothing more than to be able to slay it, not seal it, not banish it. Tear it apart so that its existence will cease. Sealing is not an option. It cannot be. It must not be.
And then what is if we cannot kill it?
Then I need to be sealed away.
You sure about it?
You can try. No, I am not sure.
Because I personally would like to go like quite a lot of different options before we are sealing you into that same plane, you know?
It doesn't have to be that plane. There are very other planes that can be that are much more comfortable.
Well, true, but still.
But still.
I think it might be quite beneficial to your family and people that like you that you come back to them.
We agree.
And maybe Ryger makes a real engagement ring out of that.
Is that something you wish for me?
You seem interested in him.
Very lacking in the wooing department.
Ah, sad.
No. I seek a partnership of equals. Emotionally. Drive-wise. Attractiveness.
Fair.
Not one of duty or political need. Been there, done that.
I'm assuming this conversation continues a little bit into whatever day or night it is on this journey. And you have some more time to make your final preparations. And after a few days of travel, you're just a single night of sailing out from the edges of Kubara. Almost there. Not before someone has a visitor in the night. Who that will be, we'll find out after our first break for today. We're going to take a little 5-minute break. So make sure you take your chance to stretch your sea legs, get some rum and grog, and unroll the stuff, as we like to say here. And we'll be back in 5 minutes to continue. So see you at about 26, 27 past the hour. See you then.
Horny.
And we are back. Please do not look at the captions. And we had a total normal conversation during the break. And we will continue right after our previous part concluded, after a good conversation about a party name, about preparations for encountering the Plane of Xoriat, and about what to look in for a significant other. The ship is on its final stretch towards the swamps of Kubara. You know that by dawn, you will see the shores of the jungles and swamps of this region of the continent of Corvair. Right now, however, the ship is gently being rocked by the waves, somewhere between the Tempest Strait and the Stormwreck Bay. Most of the people on the ship are asleep. The night crew is making sure that all the ropes are tight, the sails are set correctly. But for the party, I assume all of you are also catching some shut-eye before facing the madness. Dythun. Are you sleeping in your own quarters? You have private quarters, or have you decided to sleep elsewhere?
I'm actually sleeping in the impenetrable part of the ship that nobody can get to whatsoever. I mean, yeah, I guess whatever quarters somebody said, hey, these are yours.
Gotcha. They are small but comfy quarters you've been given. A fairly soft bed, a cupboard and a drawer, a chair, and a small round window with a small round curtain you can pull shut. You wake up in what seems the middle of the night. And you find yourself on your bed in your full battle harness, your full armor and weapons strewn next to you on the bed. But one item missing from you. The chains are not wrapped around your arm, but you can see them on the floor between the bed and the chair. Seated in the chair is a intimidatingly tall hobgoblin figure. A man with scars that tell of the battles he has been in. Armor that is millennia out of date, but shows the signs and symbols of the Dakani Empire. You recognize the face immediately. You have fought, at least, the spirit of this person, the memory of this person. And now he's sitting there, looking at you, and the chains between the two of you. And he just says, "So you have decided to finally take my chains to fight a foe they were made to fight."
Point of clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say all of Dythun's items were around him, or like he had them on but was in his bed?
You have your armor on,
Okay.
but most of your weapons are just strewn all over your bed.
Okay. I think he's going to reach over to touch his shield, which is what he uses as his oh no, spell focus? What's the cleric one?
It's that holy symbol?
Yes, holy symbol. Thank you. I mean the fighter one. He is gonna touch that, and he's just, for the hell of it, just gonna turn undead and just see if that does anything to this guy.
You touch your shield, and it glows for a moment with the light of the divinity that you have fairly recently been dedicated to.
Mm-hmm.
And you see this image, this person just briefly bathed in that light. And he shakes his head. A good reaction. But I am not a ghost. I am a memory.
Right. He'll sit up from the bed, and he's gonna leave all of his weapons there and like walk around to the front of the bed and just kind of lean against the foot of it, facing this entity. If you're a memory, then what are you doing here?
Preparing you. You walk with my weapon into battle, but from what I can gather from being wrapped around your arms for quite some time now, you have hardly any idea of what you are going to be up against.
We rarely do.
You surround yourself with well-meaning and ambitious individuals who dive their noses into books that speak of times that I lived. You do not even have the thought of trying to consult someone who has strangled the minions of Xoriat with these very chains.
You know, to be honest, I've kind of toned out most of the things you've said to me because it just was borderline annoying, because you would never shut up about some kind of grandiose, glorious story that I was supposed to be a part of, and I sort of thought it was more general suggestions than some kind of personal ambition. I guess I never considered the fact that you actually were behind that.
I have gathered by now that you do not seek to imprint yourself upon the pages of history. You do not seek the glory that I chased after when I still lived.
I do not wish to be some grand hero, but I do not wish to fade into obscurity. I want to leave some mark on this world, but I do not find myself pretentious enough to believe that legends will be written about me.
Mortal gets up from his chair, looks at you. So you want to do the right thing, but you don't want to do it just to have people recite your name?
I want something to leave behind. I don't want to just leave.
If you are going off to fight the minions of Xoriat, there's a good chance that you will leave something behind. You will leave behind a mark. Something that puts these aberrations back to whence they came. But you might also, in the process of doing so, ending your story with only a handful of people out there even remembering your name and your legend. I will tell you bluntly, when I was living and foolish, I would have not gone off into this adventure without making a parade out of it, making sure that as many people as possible know what I was doing. But it was that foolishness that had me bound to that dreadful place of fey and theater and reliving a mockery of my legend. You sound like someone that does not want to make that same mistake.
See, I think the difference between you and I is that you prepare to die. I prepare to fight. And to make sure there is a world left behind to remember me. For as many or as few as that might be.
I'm assuming you will be wielding that, and he gestures at the chains.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't have a choice anymore.
No, you don't. And I will be there with you. But I want to make a bargain with you. you do not heed my urgings to ride off into glorious sacrifice, heroic combat, being the protagonist of the sagas of the future. But you are now heading out to fight what I died fighting. I want to have another go. I want to have another attempt at truly being done with this. And if the end of all of this, no one remembers my name, so be it. But you will be the one wielding the chains. And I need to be 100% sure that the weapon I forged, I wielded, that I died holding, is in the hands of someone who is ready to do what must be done to keep these creatures at bay. Are you that person?
I've never backed down from anything in my life. I'm not about to make a habit of it.
Mortal smirks. Very good then. Continue the rest of your night. You will need the sleep. And he sits down on his chair, and as he does, you look at him and you start having that sensation, that point in a dream where you become aware that you're in a dream. And at that tipping point, Dythun's actual eyes open, and you wake up on your bed, the sun already shining through the cracks in the curtain, and you're not in your armor. You don't have your weapons scattered all over your bed and everything. You put them where you put them before you went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And the chain is still tightly wrapped around your arm, but you also see, as you look at it, that there are, on certain segments of the chain, as if by an invisible engraving needle, new symbols appear in the chain.
Do I recognize them?
They are definitely Dakani symbols. You have seen similar style symbols in Rukandral. You've seen them over Dakani runes. They are an ancient form of goblin. And especially, you have still access to that choker that you got to speak goblin.
It's only verbal, though, isn't it?
It's only verbal. Yeah, it's only
Right.
verbal. That's true. Not the reading. It's a universal translator, not a universal reading glasses. But you would be familiar with how that looks like. This is like a very ancient form of goblin, the Dakani language.
Okay. Maybe maybe he can have somebody smarter than him look at them later.
An excellent point. And slowly, not only Dythun wakes up, but all of you aboard the ship. As you wake up after a full night's rest, the crew making sure that all of you have breakfast, you can already see from the top of the deck, you can see land ahoy. You're drawing closer to Kubara. You see more and more birds in the sky starting to circle the ship. And one of the sailors on the ship has actually gathered all of you on deck to give you a bit of a heads up on where the ship will be making landfall and from where you can then further enter the jungle. And you see her looking at all of you as you're gathered here, and she goes like, well, we're gonna make as close as possible to the beach over there. well, not actually on the beach. We're going to put you on some smaller boats. We don't want to put the ship on the beach, and please don't tell High Prince Ryger I even had the idea of putting the ship on the beach. But you're going to be in the small boats. You're going to land on the beach here, and from there, it's quite a hike into the jungle. But if everything's right, Lord Ryger has given you maps that should navigate you through the jungle. Just make sure that you follow those maps. Don't do your own thing. If the swamps in the jungle, they're a dangerous place. Don't go off the path. If you see any kind of giant creepy crawlies climbing up or down your body, stay calm, carefully remove them, and enjoy your stay in Kubara.
Does the party know whether the boat will stay in place, will be moored, or will be heading back to real party?
It would be staying moored for at least 3 days to give the party time to come back. If the party isn't back in 3 days, the boat will just make its way back to Regalport.
Okay, because I remember that there was some concern or danger that proximity to Kubara could.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons that they don't want to stay too long there. Of course, they also have a thing of rationing and keeping everyone fed on board. But they also don't want to leave you without a means of getting back to Regalport if necessary. So that's why they put it on those 3 days at max. From what you would understand, especially during your preparation, Ryger would have stressed is the more terrible effects that affected his crew happened once you got really close to these ruins that you're going to. So it wasn't until someone from his crew went out to those ruins that they started behaving weird and showing strange signs. So the crew here on the ship should, in theory, be fine while they're here.
Noted. Okay.
Dythun just kind of like walks around the party. Does anyone read like ancient goblinoid?
Sorry, I missed that class.
Oh, okay. Rebus?
As per usual, I will ask the DM, does Rebus happen to understand this language?
Is it Arcani?
I was already like going like, yes, this is another round of Rebus trying to fill that last language slot. You do not speak Dakani.
Damn it.
But if any one of you
Would've been fun.
would be able to read Goblin, there's like that you would be able to try to stitch something together, but there's about 9,000 years of difference between Dakani Goblin and modern day Goblin, so there's quite some linguistic drift there, to say the least.
Only post-classical.
Just a little bit.
Damn.
But what you would notice, like, all of you have seen these chains before. All of you would see, indeed, hey, these symbols on there, those are new.
Those are new symbols.
Yes, noticed them a few nights ago. I'm not sure what that means. Hopefully it's a good thing.
Did they just appear overnight?
More or less. I woke up and they were there, but they weren't there when I went to bed.
You are indeed quite an individual, that which powerful arcane beings seem to take an interest in you, that seem to be offering you abilities, their confidences for some sort of trades. Anything of the like done this time?
Can I say I'm a charismatic person? There may have been some speak of making sure the chains are used in a proper manner. We are sort of facing the forces which Mortal fought before.
In exchange for what? Leniency of your soul?
No, just
You
Actually,
did
wait,
not
hold on.
barter back. Dythun.
Well, I kind of wasn't given a choice, alright? It was sort of a dream thing, and they sort of just showed up. They were like, "Why? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Fighting." And they're like, "Why aren't you preparing for this?" And I'm like, "I am, but I'm not doing it your way." And they were like, "Well, make sure you fight these people." And I'm like, "I'm going to anyway. I'm not really sure the point of it."
Riveting.
He didn't say he was taking anything. Did he? Shit.
Always ask for something in return if something is asked of you. Especially by power brokers.
Things like your body, your soul.
Right, well, next time he randomly shows up in a dream of mine, I'll be sure to do that.
Yes, do this with ancient entities, witches, hags, you know, the usuals.
Basically everyone who offers you a bargain.
And what do I get out of it?
What do you want?
Ah, see, I get it now. I want to move on into the island, actually. as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that one sailor who was giving you instructions is standing next to your conversation about what to do when you're being offered bargains by strange entities, and she was just like doing this polite smiling at all of you, just like then
Do you speak Goblin?
now my cousin twice removed is married to a bugbear, but I don't really speak Goblin,
fine.
so anyway, we're there, and we see the little boats getting ready. All of you getting put into those boats, and you set down into the waves and make the last meters across the water towards Kubara. You can already see as you approach that there is only a short stretch of beach that you can actually cover once the boat comes on land. It quickly leads into a mire of roots, trees, and mud. And once you are past that first coastal barrier of trees, you can hardly even hear the water behind you. Your ears instead are filled with the buzzing of insects around you. Mosquitoes of various sizes from just as big as your thumb to as large as your head fly around here. Your steps quickly sink into the muddy ground beneath, and this sloshing sound as you pull your feet out of the mud. There is also a thin blanket of fog hanging here. Not thick, not so thick that you can't look through it. You can see, but there's just this layer of mist that covers everything. The further you move in, following the map given to you by Ryger, the more dense and large the trees become. They stand on these roots over the ground, capable to deal with whatever tides roll in here, but also leaving these wide open spaces between ground and root. Some parts of your movement, you actually have to duck under these roots. A dark canopy above you. You see, hiding behind some trees are lizards of various sizes, and you can see in the distance, you see the silhouette of some kind of dinosaur-like creature that spots the four of you just before you can spot it and dart off into the mist and the jungle swamps. There is also another thing that you spot. As you follow the map, you come across a rocky outcropping. Maybe one of the few really solid pieces of ground here. Nestled between these rocks, all of you spot a small shard. And I would like all of you to give me an Arcana check. And yeah, all of you an Arcana check, please.
I would say that as we've been walking down this muddy path, if there had been vines or low branches, that one by one, they would have been on their own, moving aside when rain approaches.
Like almost like a curtain pulling apart for
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
That is a total 15.
15.
Yeah, it's not a good roll.
11.
Delphine, what did you get?
4.
4 for Delphine. What did Dythun get?
Well, 11.
11. And what did Rebus get?
It was a 7.
We're so smart.
All of you do spot this shard, but all of you are like, oh, most of you are, this is a beautiful piece of gemstone here. Rain, however, you recognize it, and maybe it's partially because of your arcane backgrounds, maybe your upbringing and the kind of education that came with it, or maybe it's just that at this moment Rain is the quickest thinker, but you would recognize this little gemstone as just the smallest of Eberron dragon shards. Now, this is a very small outcropping of it, and looks different from the dragon shard that you've seen long ago on Ice White Isle as part of an engine for an airship. This one has a bit of a pinkish color to it, and it is just a very small bit of it, but it's just here, right in front of you.
Rain kind of leans over, looks at it, looks to her side, and a twig floats up, and she kind of moves it with her eyes, and she brings the twig down to tap on this shiny pink shard.
You tap the twig telekinetically, and it makes a tick-tick noise, but nothing else happens.
I want this. Gonna do a quick fly up vertically to get a better eye view. Anything around us?
Yeah, I was also about to say, can I perception check? Like, is this a trap? Like, this is weird to just be there.
I want this.
Actually, instead of asking you for all of you for a perception check, could all of you give me a history check, please?
I mean, damn, I would have taken something that gave me intelligence, so I knew we would have been doing this.
14.
14.
Let's switch the die. The numbers are getting lower.
18.
18 for Rebus.
I rolled 19, which means 18.
18.
21.
21. And what did Rain get?
14.
14. Okay, so as all of you, rightfully so, might be a little bit suspicious about these things, there's a factoid about Kubara that you know.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that Kubara is so popular for mining operations, especially after Last War, is that for some reason there's a high abundance of Eberron dragon shards in this region. And there's also outcroppings and veins of it very close to the surface. So you would not find it, while it's still not, you don't find these dragon shards around every corner here, but it's also not extremely rare to encounter them. So while of course you should act as carefully as you want to, because you're still in a dangerous swamp, the presence of an Eberron dragon shard in itself is in Kubara not that rare.
Okay. If rain flies up vertically 15, 20, 25 feet, even to peak above the tree line. Any threats? Anyone looking around? I think Dythun was also looking around.
Yeah, since specifically Dythun has been looking around and Rain is taking a bit of a vantage point, can both Dythun and Rain give me a perception check at advantage? I think Dythun is rolling anyway with perception checks advantage, so...
Yeah, 15 total.
15 total?
19.
19. Rain, you go upwards, surveying the area for anything you spot, but you can't really spot that much, especially going upwards here might even be a little bit detrimental because you have more leaves, trees, and the likes to look through to get an overview. Dythun, you on the ground look around, and there is something curious that you spot just a little bit further up ahead from you. There is... You can see burn marks on some of the roots. And there is actually almost looks like marks of something that has crashed into the ground ahead of you. As if something fell in there and then skidded over the ground.
Oh,
Hey, Rain?
Float
Can
down.
you come back down here?
Yeah.
The size of the marks that look like something crashed, does that look about the size of Oria's
her
little
contraption.
suit? You got a much closer look at it than I did.
Yes, as I was lighting it ablaze. Does it, GM?
It would be about the size.
Damn it.
God damn it. Well, at least she crashed.
I guess we should follow this and maybe see if we find the suit abandoned, or...
I don't think she'd
Can
abandon
you
it.
tell how old these marks are?
I don't know, can we?
Survival?
If you get
That's
a
why
little
I'm
bit
asking
closer-
other people, because my survival's not good.
If you're
I-
going a little bit closer to the marks, whoever wants to could try and make a survival check to see if they can guess how old these are.
Nah, I don't see anything. I rolled a 1.
Oh, I'll help out and roll.
Oh gosh.
Nope, 9. Rain starts
Fine.
telekinetically pulling at that shard.
I have
All
one.
right. So, from what I gather,
no.
since all of you did the survival checks, I'm assuming all of you also moved a bit closer to the marks in the ground.
Yeah.
This is your first adventure as a group in like a really swampy area. And it's hard to tell how old these impact marks are. There's like some parts of them have like already little puddles of water in them, but this is a swamp. I mean, this can fill pretty quickly. Maybe there's even some discussion amongst the party like, oh no, wait, look at this. These must be a day old. No, wait, maybe they're just a few hours old. It's not clear to any of you. The only thing that, because you're all combined standing here around these marks, looking at them, what you would spot, however, is a little bit further ahead, as you look down that trail of impact marks that leads further into the undergrowth, with more roots and branches being snapped from some kind of impact, burn marks on their edges. You see in that trail of impact armor plating and parts of what must have come from an armor that at least seems to be very similar to Oria's suit. And it just is scattered all along that impact trail. Which seemingly, as you look, seems to come to an end further in a, like really this kind of dark hole in the ground underneath some of these roots. And you can just see in that hole the outlines of something in that hole. but it's too dark there with the current lighting, a lot of foliage and trees over you. You would have to use some kind of light to illuminate that.
Well, I know Rain wants to try and get that shard, right?
She's kind of been like standing and like also musing with everyone while like her hand is outstretched. She's trying to like yank at the thing magically.
And you're doing that telekinetically, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
coming out.
it's not that hard to pull it out telekinetically. Like even
Oh.
if you just would have used your hands, you could have done it without a problem. But you can telekinetically like you pull it out and you get like this thumb-sized piece of Eberron dragon shard.
It's lovely. I put it in my bag. I have pink Eberron shard.
Yes.
And watch, it is not going into interdimensional pocket. Very important.
So, Rebus, do you
ignored it.
still have that lantern? Didn't you have like a big
I beg your
lantern?
pardon?
Did you have like a lantern on your
Oh,
blade
I
or something?
do. I do, but I would like to try something if that's okay with you. I don't quite know how this is going to feel, but I was following the instructions that Miss Rain gave me.
Okay, by all means.
If the only use you have for the lantern is to cast light, right?
Yes. Just to illuminate that down there.
I will take a little bit of like I'll touch the sides of the cloak I'm wearing and then do a little like symbol with my hands and whisper something, and from the light in Rebus's shattered faceplate suddenly 4 little motes of light come out, and I hold them on my hands and they become a little bit bigger, and I cast dancing lights.
I love it.
Just
Amazing.
Kind of let them push them ahead, and they start floating around you.
What a great barbarian trait.
That was tingly. Weird.
Yes, I'm impressed.
Amazing.
Very well done.
The dancing lights that you conjure, Rebus, that come from the light in your cracked faceplate, they move forward to illuminate the trail ahead. And you can now clearly see in the light that in this hole in the ground underneath some massive roots, at the end of this impact trail has already been scattered with pieces, you see the heavily damaged piece of armor that Aurea Ikorin was wearing. There is a opening in the center of it, almost like a hatch that has been opened, but all the marks, all the parts around it are burned. There is whatever kind of helmet it had is dented, as if heavy impact came from all angles at it. And most of its other plating is loose, screws almost falling out of their sockets. There is no one here. It's just the remains of this magical technological device that Aurea used, that you saw her use in the encounter, and that she also used to escape from you.
Was it
Maybe-
that badly damaged?
No, not really, but maybe someone should imprison her for all the glittering that she is doing.
Off with her head.
Oh, definitely.
So,
That seems a bit
hold on a
harsh
minute.
for littering, but
I think that was more for all of her other various, probably crimes she's done. As much as I want to go investigate that, if I was Oria and I knew we would probably be following, that's gotta be trapped, right? Like,
Let me double check the spell.
Definitely.
I'm waiting for that to just blow up as soon as somebody touches. Again.
No, I have to touch it.
Don't do that.
Well,
Dythun throws a rock at it.
yeah, I was gonna say like stand back. Let's toss a rock at it.
Yeah. Okay, Dythun, you rock a toss.
You rock a
toss
rock.
I rock a toss at it, yeah.
Party name.
You,
Rocket toss. Let's go.
you toss a rock
Toss.
at the armor, and you hear this dong as you hit it, like this hollow sound from inside, and nothing happens.
I am going to go and ascertain its properties, even if it is abandoned. If Oria has survived, I wouldn't put it past her to take upon whatever this was and improve upon it for later. I'd like to know
Well-
its base capacities.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a few moments? Are we in any major hurry?
I would say it would be good if we are just hurrying up. The ship will be here for like just 3 days. So there is a little bit of time clash. And depending on how long it will take until we're reaching that ruins, and if there is any, let's say, time disturbance like on Ice White Isle, this time will be gone pretty fast.
Then time doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't want to go back to somewhere through all the jungle.
A loud crack is heard throughout the jungle as you're having this conversation. Branches snap in the distance, and from the crowns of the trees, birds rise up into the sky, fleeing from whatever is happening. Further down the trail that you were following, all along the map that you're following, you see now, suddenly, a purple pinkish light glowing in the distance, and a roar echoing through the swamps. The light reaches out into the sky, and all of you feel a dizzying sensation in your heads. Could I get an intelligence saving throw from all of you, please?
That we are nearby Delphi.
Yes.
You are still nearby
because-
Delphine.
because-
Intelligence, you said, right?
Yes.
Intelligence.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh.
nearby Delphine means
Plus two.
advantage?
No,
Plus
plus 2.
two.
Oh, plus 2. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Cool.
18.
18.
14.
Is this against charm or frightened?
Is this against Charmed?
It is not against Charmed or Frightened.
Okay, fuck.
Is this secretly an athletics check?
Mm,
Okay.
are you counting mental gymnastics as athletics? Because I am not, so it's not
Okay.
one.
You know what is one?
Oh,
My intelligence saving roll.
No, it's
Did you
technically
roll
a 3.
Well, no, it's technically a 2 because I
It's
get a minus
14 for
1.
me.
right. So wait. Oh wow. So we have a 1 from Dythun. We have. What did you get, Delphine?
14.
14. What did Rain get?
18.
18. What did Rebus get?
Also 14.
14. All right. Everyone who rolled lower than a 16,
Oh, fuck.
you. Oh, that was cocked. You take. Everyone who's rolled lower than a 16 takes 6 points of psychic damage. as you feel this vibration in your minds. And for a moment, you see in every shadow underneath the roots, in every dark hollow that you can see, yellow eyes open up and looking at you, just staring for a moment. And all of you, no matter your result of the saving throw, all of you just hear this voice in your head. All eyes become gates. As you can still see in the distance, this purple, pinkish glow that rises into the sky. And we're going to take our second short break before we go into the final part for today. We're going to take another 5-minute break. So we'll be back at 20 past the hour. So grab your legs, prepare your psychic resistances if you have them, and we will be back in 5 minutes. See you in 5.
Did you just say grab your leg?
Grab-
And there we are again, the Rakatasas, or whatever this party is going to end up calling itself. As we are heading into the final part of today's session, we ended before the break as the party was investigating the remains of Oria Ikoran's strange magical technological suit, but then a loud noise cracking in the distance and painful psychic headaches drew the party's attention. There is a beam of purple pinkish energy reaching into the sky, not too far away from them, and I asked the party the question of the ages: what are you gonna do?
This feels like an urgent thing that comes up. So I think if the... Austin, did you want to ritually cast detect magic?
That's why I was asking about the time, but I don't think we have time for that.
I can cast
It's
identify an
urgent
action
thing.
and move.
Yeah.
Urgent
I
thing,
was
10
just more
minutes
worried
ritual.
about like if there was
Contact.
a thing around it, but
We
I
threw
can't really
stones
do
at
anything
it.
about that now. Yeah,
Well,
that's
also no risk it for the biscuit. So if fine, Rain is
fair.
going
Another
to
great party name. Risk it for the.
How about no?
How about no?
Rain is going to boop and
Boop,
cast identify.
boop,
the
and
suit.
cast identify. You move over to the remains of the armor, and you do cast a spell, and I'm pretty sure identify basically gives you the full rundown of things.
Yep, I put it in our foundry. But yes,
Mhm.
all the things.
All the things. So, identify still takes you 1 minute casting time, by the way. It's not just an action.
You are correct. I guess a minute is better than 10 minutes.
That is correct. But so you keep it touching it for a minute as you focus on whatever magics lie therein, and you understand that this is a tailor-made piece of artifice that comes with a variety of features if it were functional at this point. You do understand that this is basically functionally a heavy plate armor that comes with charges of a wide variety of spells. You sense that there is charges for teleport spells in here. There's charges for shield, for counter spell. There are charges in here to cast things like fireball, lightning bolt, chain lightning, all that kind of stuff just worked into various compartments and cartridges that this magical armor holds. But in its current state, it is not working. You cannot use this, and it would require quite some maintenance to get it back up running, and also some time for all of these spells to be capable to recharge.
Okay, and it's in the middle of the road. We're not near a cliffside or anything.
No, yeah.
As much as Rain would like to sit and further destroy this, I feel the party as well kind of wants to move towards that big ass purple energy.
Yeah, while Rain is doing that, what does the rest of the party indeed do in that case?
Can I make a perception check to see if there's anything near? Is there anything else coming from that direction? Yada yada, all the small thingies.
Without a perception check, you would not see that there's anything coming from that direction, but there's still sounds coming there. You hear things cracking against the wood and things moving further down the road in the direction of where the light is coming from. The light itself also gives off this humming sound, and the only other thing that you hear on top of that, as you focus your attention in that direction, is that you can hear the faint sound of what sounds like someone speaking, someone talking, but you're too far away and there's too much other sounds of actually you being capable of understanding what is being said. You would have to get closer to hear what's being said.
Then I want to stealth towards that direction to see who is talking there.
All right. So, Delphine, you want to make your way a little bit stealthy in that direction?
Yes, please.
As you sneak over there, could you give me a stealth roll with advantage in this case?
Cool. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is 24.
You sneak your way ahead, and the other party members, you also see Delphine already moving ahead towards that direction. Does any one of you want to try to follow her, to join her, or others? Are you waiting until Rain is ready with what she's doing?
I think Dythun would stay by Rain to make sure nothing comes up behind her.
So then I will go with Delphine.
Yeah, right.
Or at least, be close enough that if something goes wrong, I can help.
Gotcha. Perfect. So you have Delphine's back over there as you move closer, and Delphine, you sneak your way down the road, and you can see that towards the direction you're going, at one point, the road crosses a little stream, and beyond that stream, you see that there is a clearing in the forests that has crumbling remains of pillars and statues and stone that is partially sunken into the swamp. Other parts are still sticking out of the swamp. But at the center of that clearing is this kind of stone platform that you see. And that platform is the origin of this glow that comes out of the ground. Not too far away from the platform, you see two large, what you can only describe as large lobsters walking around with these intimidating set of pincers, and from their faces come these pinkish tentacles that reach out and taste around the air. They have both, their attention is drawn to a woman that is standing not too far from this beacon of light. You see it is a female orc. She is dressed in what looks like leather armors. She's wielding a quarterstaff, and she does not seem to have friendly intentions with these gigantic crustaceans. She's like already taking up a defensive position, and as she's looking at those two, you hear and see behind her a figure taking form in this pink beam of energy. Manifesting in there, you see this, what you first think is just a hovering head, but then 4 tentacles sprout from the head, and its mouth widens, and just a single green eye manifests on the largest part of the head. The mouth opens and cackles, and it's just this smaller hovering entity that starts just rambling in this strange language. And the woman looks at it, and Delphine, you're so close now, you just hear her say, fuck it. And you see her ram the quarterstaff into the ground. She tears at her own clothing, and as she does, she shapeshifts into this huge dinosaur figure. And she's just now standing in between these creatures. And it is this gigantic, armored and plated dinosaur that has spikes along its back and ending in a tail that has a club on the top of the tail. And she's like flinging around that club, and it lets out this low sound.
Cool. So nothing we will ever do will be that cool.
I will make a hand gesture towards Reaper since I know that they are following me. I'd like to stop and not doing anything. Yeah, just watching what is going on there.
All right. So while two of the party is seeing that, Rain and Dythun. Rain, you're slowly wrapping up what you can gather from the suit, and you are aware that two of your party members have been going up ahead. What do the two of you do at this point?
Rain, as she's like gathering the information, she's rattling it off out loud also to Dythun. It's like the capabilities, what it could have been possible of. And she gets the idea, like, we're in a time crunch. I'm just doing this as fast as I can.
Do we hear the like roar from the other thing?
Yeah.
Rain, I don't want to leave you behind, but we need to hurry. That sounds bad.
Are we making a grand entrance?
You know what? Yes, let's go on. As
Race you
how
there.
how about as the chaos of Corvair? Yes? No? Fuck it, whatever. He takes off.
Rain flies like Superman style.
And
That's not fair.
And Dythun, you run following your companions, and you see Delphine and Rebus. They're a little bit hidden, keeping low, and you can also see crustacean creatures, gigantic dinosaur, weird floating tentacled head in a beam of purple ahead of you, Rain probably a little bit up in the sky. You also see that from your lofty angle, Rain. What do you do?
I know if I see the other two, like, stopped and waiting, Dythun would, like, stop his full sprint and, like, try to approach quietly.
Likewise, let's gather up as like... We're just waiting for a victor to emerge.
What, fight the winners? Or...
We're waiting and see what is going on there.
That giant reptile came out of nowhere. Why haven't we heard it earlier?
Because that is a person that shaped into it.
What kind of person?
Orcish, large, fun looking.
Do we not want to help?
A connection.
I would say like they are pretty capable of helping themselves over there.
As you say that, Delphine, one of the pincers of these crustacean creatures, like, goes into the side of the dinosaur and, like, starts crushing into it. The dinosaur retaliates with, like, a tail swipe into the face of one of these crustaceans, but the facial tentacles of that crustacean, like, wrap around the armored end of it and try to shove back the tail. There's, like, it's one strange crustacean monster against a dinosaur. It's a showdown, and I'm assuming that Rain is gonna throw in there with a bit of a telepathy.
Yep. And her first words are like, "Hello, come here often."
The dinosaur, like, loses attention for a moment, which is enough for the crustacean creature to bring in the other pincer and try to take it down. And you hear telepathically back in a firm voice, speaking common with you, "Be gone from my mind, invaders."
Oh, I'm not with the crustacean or the Floating eyeball.
What?
Duck.
I will not. And you say that, and in that moment, like the dinosaur like ducks and can indeed evade the other crustacean creature trying to also come in with the pincer. And you hear back, "This is some trickery from Xoriat. Or were you involved in the opening of this seal?"
If I were to assist, can I prove otherwise?
I would not say no to some help.
Rain looks back at her party, kind of does like, and starts taking a step forward to gesture that she is approaching the fray. But she's not like sprinting out yet. She's like,
I have a really important question, too,
Mhm.
actually.
Bring on the really important questions.
First question. The thing in the beam, is it there or is it like trying to come through something?
It is there.
Second, more important question. In a number of feet, how far away is it from where Dythun is standing?
DM.exe is loading.
Please wait.
Let me
Would
quickly-
it be
because
easier to ask, is it
Program
within
not responding.
120?
Yeah, oh yeah, it definitely is within 120. Yeah.
Great. If Dythun sees the from Rain, Dythun's gonna pull his sword, say, "Fuck it, I'm helping." He's gonna guiding bolt the weird floating eyeball thing.
"Yep," and I'm shooting cantrips at this point as well.
Okay, I think at this point, I'm gonna put all of you in initiative. Like, we're not gonna finish this combat today, but I'm gonna put you in initiative to give you a bit of a
Good.
Maybe we'll finish.
of an impression of what's going on here. So I'm gonna pull up a
I'm
new
happy-
map for you.
might not-
Yay!
I just need to quickly do a trick to change a token here. I learned a new feature in Foundry, and we're gonna wild shape her. There we go.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, just to give you a bit of an impression of what's going on here. So, just for the ease of use, I've placed all of you here at the bottom of this map, this jungle environment. Right ahead of you is a stream that you could cross by some vines that seem to have grown over it, vines and roots entangling. But further up ahead of you, you see indeed these strange alien crustacean-looking creatures entangled with what... Thank you very much, Sarah. This is indeed an ankylosaurus that I tried to describe, and I'm glad the description matched up with what I was trying to describe. And further behind them is indeed this platform with a pink purplish beam and a hovering strange
Meatball.
with eye and tentacles on its face on there. And
Don't like
I
that.
am going to get all of you into initiative and combat readiness, so you can roll initiative if you would like to, please.
Wow.
I did.
Before we start combat, I have an important question for the DM.
Yes!
How does it work? We usually don't really keep this in mind, but how does it work? How long does it take to draw a weapon and stow a weapon away?
I would consider, for ease of use, that at the start of this, since you're already of what's going on, you would have whatever kinds of weapons you want to have at the ready, you would have those in hand already.
Oh, stowing a weapon is normally
yeah, but in
an action.
Yeah. But I think you have another
The
reason
whole
for the
action to
question.
put a weapon away.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to find out my strategy of how I'm going to do things.
So normally it's like putting a weapon away is an action, or letting a weapon fall is a free action. Because you just do, instead of like, oh yeah,
Um,
I need to fumble it somewhere.
Drawing a weapon,
I think that's a I think it's a free
Yes.
action since it's pretty much easier to draw a weapon than to stow it away.
It also really depends on what you're trying to exactly do. If you want to, like, for example, start out with the glaive in hands, and at a later point you want to do like splitting them up into weapons, I would still say, for example, splitting up that glaive into 2 single weapons would be costing you 1 of your extra attacks that you have, for example.
Yeah, no, it was more of a question of if I start my attack with an unarmed strike, essentially, can I then draw my weapon for my second attack?
No, I think you would have to, like, you would do all of your action with the unarmed attacks, and then on your next turn you could use the other weapon.
Okay. Okay. That's a shame, but we'll make it work.
What did everyone get for initiative?
22.
22.
20.
20 from Delphine. And I think Rain already put it in. That's a 3 for
23
Rain.
for me.
23 for Rebus. Wow, what a busy top there. Rain, is that initiative that you rolled, is that correct? Is that a 3?
And it's correct.
That is a 3.
So it's like Rain sort of like nods and steps forward, but since her friends are much more athletic and strong, her one step is very different from their sprints forward.
All right.
Rain steps one move forward and gets stuck in the mud.
Well, I'm flying, so I'd be like fly stepping on air.
Okay. That brings us, let's see, at least get like the first round in to see what happens here, to see what all these different combatants have to go. And starting at the top of initiative with 23 in round 1 is Rebus. What are you going to do?
Right.
How far away am I?
You can see on the map. If you click the L-shaped arrow ruler underneath, you can create a measurement tool.
Yes, yes. I do not want to do that. Here. I hate infantry. I need to close this now. Watch me struggle with this.
What is it you're trying to do?
What is it you're trying to do?
I wanted to erase these little cones that I have.
I have erased them. They are gone.
Okay, thank you. I am useless.
What are you trying to do?
Here we go. Okay, that's 60 feet. How? It's dashing. Wait. What? Actually, I don't even need to dash. That's 60 feet, right? Between me and this first. Yeah, I'm going to rage.
65 to be specific.
Okay, that's fine. Actually, don't worry about it. I'm going to rage, and I will get on all fours and charge forward. Actually, leap as part of my what is this called? My instinctive pounce action, which says that as part of the bonus action that I take to enter my rage, I can move up to half my speed.
All right.
So I will start by moving 50 feet, 20 feet forward.
Mm-hmm.
while my shape changes and I grow a tail made of cables, and I will move my entire movement as well. So, 60 feet in total.
Yes.
About there. Right. And I will get out my glaive and attack because it has a 10 feet range.
Mm.
So I will do that.
Swing away.
Do this. Yeah. Barbarian jumping into action. That's a 23 to hit
Yeah, that definitely
on the
hits.
first swing.
Yes.
That's really bad damage, but we're gonna go with it. 7 points of slashing damage.
Shing.
And I will do that again because it's my second attack. Critical natural 20.
Nice.
Nice. Good going.
It's the first. I think it's the first time I rolled a natural 20.
Roll those double dice.
Or 16 points of slashing damage.
16 points of slashing damage. Shing! That whirlwind of blades from your glaive goes in there, and you're already hacking through parts of the carapace of this creature as you definitely are drawing its attention on you.
Yep. And that's all I can do right now.
All right, that leads us down to Dythun with Delphine on deck.
Perfect. So I'm going to, as I said, guiding bolt the meatball, which I believe,
Yep.
well within range.
Yup.
Guiding
I guess
bolt the
moving
meatball.
my movement forward firstly,
Mm-hmm.
just to be closer, and then guiding bolt. I have a rules question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a channel divinity that I can use on an attack roll. Can that be any attack roll, including spell attacks?
Does it just say attack roll, or does it like
Says
specifically say
when you
melee
make
attack
an
roll?
attack roll, you can
Yeah.
use your channel divinity to gain bonus.
A spell attack roll is an attack roll, so
Okay.
you can use that bonus on it.
Okay, I get to decide to use it after I roll, so I might not
Okay.
have to. I just wanted, for the future, to know if that was okay.
Right.
So, guiding bolt towards the meatball.
Guiding bolt towards the flying meatball.
That is a +5, so 18 to
That
hit.
that hits.
Perfect. Use that. And 4d6 of radiant damage.
4d6.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more. A 6, so 17.
Radiant damage?
17 radiant damage.
Oof.
And it is glowing, so the next attack against it has advantage.
Amazing. Is there anything else you would like to do on your turn?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Then we're heading over to Delphine.
Yeah, good that I'm standing so far away from that. Fuck it. If I'm reaching... as a bonus action, I will cast Expeditious Retreat, which gives me extra movement speed.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can move 60 feet in total, which will just bring me over to in front of that one crab thingy, whatever this is. Pulling out my new rapier
Mm-hmm.
and going in for 2 attacks on it.
All right, let's go with that new rapier of yours.
Let's test it out, how good it is. I should not use this one. I should throw away these dice, like for real. The first attack is 11.
That does not hit, unfortunately.
Okay, second attack. Second attack, much better, much better. This is 27 to hit.
Yeah, that certainly hits.
You could have used your cat advantage on the first attack. I mean, it's almost in a possession.
Yeah.
Can I still use it?
Sure. Let's go.
Okay. We'll pull out another die just to make sure. This is like math. Still a lot of math. 23.
Yeah, that both of them hit. Roll damage for both of them.
That's
Okay,
good.
cool. I will roll them together to make it shorter.
Yeah.
If I don't throw away the dice. Oh, this is a lot of damage. Like, there's the damage coming. This is 16 points of weapon damage plus wait, now I need to calculate this. I normally do 8 plus 2 plus 20 points on top.
For a total of?
16
16 plus 20, 36?
36? Yes.
All right. You come in there with that big shiny new weapon of yours, 2 hits, striking that creature hard, and chipping further away at the chitinous armor it's wearing. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, that's it.
Gotcha. Next turn. The hovering meatball, as it has been so lovingly dubbed, is going to move over here and is going to have the eyes at the end of its stalks glow up, and the first beam is fired at the dinosaur orc person.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. And is going to get that first beam fully hits the ankylosaurus on the side, and you see that the movement just slowly stops. It just completely stops in its tracks. There's a second beam that comes from another eye stalk, which is aimed at Delphine. Delphine, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Yes, I would it is.
You are.
Let's see what my dice are saying. Yep, that's a 20.
That is a 20. So you see this burning fiery red beam just firing at you, but you leap out of its way as it just burns the ground next to you. And there's a final beam coming in to Rebus, and I need Rebus to make a strength saving throw. I'm pretty sure Rebus is also pretty good at those.
Strength. Yeah. 18.
18.
Actually, I have advantage because I'm raging. So
You also
I
have
need
me
to
on the
check.
side, so you get a +2 on top of it.
Yeah, don't even bother rolling that advantage
Okay,
because
so
you
20
succeeded.
total.
You succeeded on that saving throw, and you just see there's another beam of energy like just slams into the ground next to you and does not have any effect on you, which ends the meatball's turn and brings us to the Ankylosaurus, who, however, rigid in its movement, it's just unable to move and continues to be unable to move. We get to one of the little crustaceans, which is going to make a pincer attack against Delphine for a total of 21.
Yep, that hits.
That is 9 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are also now grappled in one of its pincers, and it's going to make a second with its free pincer attack against Rebus,
Pillars of Chaos, party name.
which is a total of 21 against Rebus.
Let me check. Okay, I will risk it. I will use my reaction to parry with my tail the attack and see if I can avoid being hit.
Okay.
It is within 10 feet of me, right?
It absolutely is. You can roll your reaction.
Nope. It still hits me.
All right. That
I
gets
rolled a
you...
1 on the d8.
That gets you to for 9 piercing damage, but since you're raging, that's halved to 4 piercing damage. But you are now grappled in its other pincer, and so it's basically now holding in one pincer Delphine and in the other pincer Rebus, and it is going to. I'm just gonna put your tokens like on it to show that, and it's going to spend its movement with both of you in its pincers to move closer to this eerie purple pinkish light up there. Ends its turn, but there's another creepy crustacean which is going to move down here and is currently just a little out of reach to do something. And that brings us to Rain.
Okay, let's move up. Our full movement, that's to the bank. One more. There we go. And then at the meatball, because I really can't do anything handy over there. Rain is sort of floating over. Her feet aren't really touching the ground too much. And she's going to point over at the meatball, bring her arm down, and sort of like very, very heavy pull up as hard as she can. And the ground underneath the meatball gets black and tar-like and inky as Rain casts Hunger of Hadar.
Hunger of Hadar.
Yes.
That means a dexterity saving throw from Meatball.
That's like
Meatball.
Tentacles just kind of like start lurching higher and higher and start to like try to envelop Meatball.
I rolled a natural 20 for a total of 22 on the saving throw.
Let me check one distance thing because I'm going to try to mess that up for you. I think I can't mess that up. I can! Silvery Barbs. Reaction spec.
Who are you giving the advantage?
Myself, because it's dangerous here. Sorry.
You're gonna give it to yourself. You got it on yourself. I went from a natural 20 to a 6 for a total of 8. So that fails the saving throw for a total of, if I saw it correctly, 4 cold damage and 9 acid damage. Does it immediately? No. No light.
But
The void creates a warp in the fabric space in the area, and any creature that starts its turn in the area takes cold damage. Any creature that ends its turn in the area must succeed on a dexterity. I'm not making any rolls right now. You basically just create the...
Yeah.
A 20-foot radius sphere of blackness and bitter cold appears, centered on a point within range and lasting for the duration. The void is filled with its cacophony, so you basically, you make the area for it right now, but it's not doing any damage yet.
That is 20 feet. Kind of like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, you have yours right. I'm just
No, you already have, you made it. Like, would it be like over there?
Yeah, not affect our dinosaur friend.
So there's creepy, weird tentacles coming out of the forest patch next to it that are now like lashing out to this creature. Anything else on your turn?
Bonus action as I see the jungle lobster lumber towards us with my other hand, now that my right hand has summoned this like black, inky, whispering darkness. With my other hand, just going to try to telekinetically shove the lobster away.
Strength saving throw?
It's going to be really weak. Yep. Let me look it up in the meantime while you roll. Where is it? Telekinetic.
5 feet of movement or something?
5 feet of movement away, 11 plus the ability modifier of the score increased by this feat. So that is DC 16.
I rolled a total of 20.
Yeah, nothing happens to it.
Do you, by the way, want to take back your silvery barbs from the Hunger of Hadar roll? Because technically that saving roll didn't happen. So you wouldn't have spent silvery barbs yet, because this meatball is not making any saving rolls yet. And you spent your Hunger of Hadar, your silvery barbs reaction to basically silvery barbs a saving roll that didn't have to happen yet. You can take the silvery barbs back, so you get that back.
That's fair. And technically, since it's like encased in it, I wouldn't be able to cast it because I can't see it. Oops!
Yes, but anyway, you would get the silvery barbs back, you get the spell slot back, you get the reaction back. You don't have the advantage, but who knows? Maybe we'll get to use it later.
Though, whatever that means.
Yes. All right. So, with that, as this round ends and you started your fight with these creatures deep in the jungle swamps, there's one thing that you peek. One final thing that you see is out of the purple beam, this purple pinkish glow, manifesting is one more of these flowing meatballs coming out cackling with eyes unfolding. But how you will survive this encounter with creepy crustaceans, floating meatballs, and an orc woman that turned into a freaking ankylosaurus, we're going to find out next week, as we're going to end today's session right here. Alrighty, everyone.
Oh dear.
We got ourselves into some good place to start the next session before and see how you're gonna do. How's everybody doing at the end of this first session of the new chapter?
Excite?
I got so many things to try out now.
Slightly damaged.
But also dishing out the damage.
Oh, that's true.
Just a jungle lobster.
We'll be okay.
We can
We'll be
eat more
fine.
later.
Just run-of-the-mill jungle lobsters and meatballs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
on top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese.
Meatballs and lobsters, my favorite meal.
Alrighty. Well, I am already looking forward to how that is going next session. We'll be back to that next week. However, if you've been here with us today, if you've been lurking, if you've been talking with us, thank you very much for coming by for today's session. If you like what we do here, feel free to follow or subscribe here on our Twitch. It really helps us out as well. So even if you have, like, for example, an Amazon Gaming, Prime Gaming subscription lying around, feel free to help us out with that. You can also follow us on our socials, which are linked below. There you can find the links to our Twitter, where we are always posting when we're going live and about other projects. And you also find the link to our Discord server, where you can join and hang out with us. So feel free to do that. Also, since this is episode 57 of this campaign, if you want to catch up to the first 56 sessions of this, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Horde of Tales. You can find all the VODs for our previous sessions there, and also for all the other games that we run on this channel. Also, we will be back on Thursday on this channel with, if I am not mistaken, the very final game of our Ether game that is being run by Angela with a fantastic crew. They're about to face the final challenges for their crew in a extremely cool campaign that has been running on this channel. You can also find the VODs of that on our YouTube channel, and you should definitely hang with us for the finale of Ether on Thursday. Same time, 7 p.m. BST, 2 p.m. EST. Any quick final announcements from the rest of you before we wrap up for today?
We have another thing happening at Horde of Tales. We have the sign-ups officially open for our Women in Gaming Month. I'm dropping a link right now in the chat. There it is. If you identify as women or femme and want to be part of one of 6, 7 one-shots throughout the month of June that are either
8.
8 more, better. EU, UK friendly times, all women, all femme tables, amazing stories, diverse systems, unique stories. Please sign up, be part of our event. Let us love you, let us elevate you, let us celebrate you for all of June. Hope to see you there.
Indeed. Follow the link in the chat. Please sign up, and hopefully we can make it an amazing Women in Gaming Month 2023. Another final look around the table. Anything anyone else wants to share really quickly?
Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, I have something to say. Everyone here is really cool, and I appreciate you all.
Thank you so
That's
much.
all I got.
Thank you.
As for Ida fast announcements, Monday at Manipod Studios at 7:30 BST, we have the finale of our Starfinder campaign. So in the last session, we got on our spaceship, went to an abandoned planet, bullied an AI, went to a desert planet, ran on jeeps, Mad Max style, outran a giant sandworm, a giant horde of ants, entered an alien temple, doing blood sacrifice, all in one session. And that's the finale. Finale's Monday. Come and join us. It'll be epic and in space.
Alrighty.
And the last but not least, May 27th, 28th is the Roll for Good event. We're getting there. It's less than 2 weeks away. 6 games, 2 days, all going for LGBTQIA human rights. Come one, come all, support, spread the word, lurk in chat, engage. There'll be giveaways. Marcus is on the mod squad, so definitely come and say hi. Caro is playing. Amazing friends of the channel will be behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. It's for a good cause. Let's show everyone how awesome our community on this side of the Atlantic can do it. Peace.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for today's session. Thanks to my amazing table who has come to kick off this chapter. Thanks for people who come to lurk, hang out, and chat with us. We will be back with this battle that we started today next week. Same time, same place. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week and the rest of your day. And see you soon.
We are going to raid.
Oh my god, we are going to raid. We are actually going to raid over to Girls Run These Worlds, who are also running a finale over there. Their Inspire Isles campaign, a fantastic TTRPG that also teaches you sign language. So you should definitely come us as we come over. The rate is hopefully being prepped right now. We're getting on the rate train. The wagons are fired up. The engines are steaming.
We are grabbing the legs.
We are grabbing
the
the legs and
Roll the
unrolling the
things.
stuff. And we are doing the thingamajigs with the...
Yeah,
Dual
Twitch
box?
says we are. Oh, yeah, we can now. We can. Sorry.
The
Our-
Unrollers is a party name.
The Unrollers, that's also a great
Leg
name.
grabbers.
I am not seeing...
Okay, done.
Is the raid starting?
Yep, we can go.
Bye.
But I'm not seeing it pop up yet. Is that on my end? Just before I just give us an ungraceful out here.
Yeah, from my side, I actually had a
Okay.
window open, and when I clicked on it, it's like,
Okay,
yeah, it's already, and the rate is already going. And,
okay. I'm
and
going
the-
to wrap up here for today. Thanks everyone for joining us here, and take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.